Welcome back to Crypto Atlas, your daily source for crypto whale alerts, crypto market news, and DeFi gems. All right, let's go ahead and jump straight into it because we've got a big whale alert to start things off tonight. About an hour ago, while I'm recording this video, Whale Alert flagged a transfer of 55 million XRP that's worth just under $110 million. And this moved from an unknown wallet to another unknown wallet, which always gets people talking. No exchange tags, no obvious destination, just a clean on-chain move. Whenever we see this kind of transfer, the first question is whether this is preparation or repositioning. It could be custody reshuffling, an over-the-counter deal settling, or a whale quietly getting ready ahead of news. The fact that it's unknown to unknown makes it more interesting because that usually means intention, not noise. Big XRP holders tend to move early, not late. Now, keep that transfer in mind as we roll into the news because the timing is lining up in a really intriguing way. And I'll talk more about what's going on in the news in just a second. I want to let you guys know real quick, I do have a referral link for a crypto exchange called BTCC down in the description below. If you want to pause the video, you can look at some of the benefits here. I'm also over on Telegram, so if you want to stay updated on the latest, you can join my Telegram group. Okay, so first up, Solana dropped a clip featuring Ripple executive Luke Judges talking about why Solana is an exciting place to launch XRP. This is actually pretty big because Phantom users can now access XRP, and that instantly expands reach and liquidity. When you start embedding XRP into prediction markets, perpetuals, and other financial primitives, you're talking real demand, not just speculation. This fits perfectly with Ripple's push to make XRP usable everywhere, not siloed on one chain. That theme came up again when Whale Insider reported that ETF clients bought just over $20 million worth of XRP. That brings total ETF-held XRP assets to around $1.18 billion, which is not small anymore. ETF flows are slow, steady pressure, and they tend to build floors over time. Quiet accumulation like this often lines up with those unknown wallet moves we just talked about. And up next, Swan Desk reinforced the same idea, quoting Ripple saying they want XRP everywhere. Luke Judges confirmed Ripple is accelerating a multi-chain strategy, especially after the Solana breakpoint announcements. Europe is also heating up, with Cointelegraph reporting Ripple expanding through a stablecoin payments partnership with Amina. That's real-world usage, real rails, and real integration into the existing financial system. And I think the biggest takeaway here is how all these pieces are starting to overlap instead of living in separate lanes. You have whales moving size, institutions buying through ETFs, developers integrating XRP into new environments, and regulators quietly opening doors that were slammed shut a few years ago. That combination matters more than any single headline. Markets usually move when narratives converge, not when one tweet goes viral. The short term might stay choppy, especially with macro uncertainty and rate decisions looming, but longer term positioning is usually invisible until it's obvious. That's why I keep watching on-chain data, not just price candles. Money moves before sentiment shifts. If adoption keeps expanding across chains, payments, and regulated infrastructure, XRP does not need hype to perform. It just needs time and consistency, and that's what this week's news is pointing toward. And if history is any guide, the quiet phases are where the smartest positioning happens, long before charts reflect the fundamentals everyone later agrees mattered most. That's usually when patience pays, narratives flip, and markets surprise the crowd that was waiting for certainty. Those moments are uncomfortable, they're boring, and incredibly profitable for prepared participants who understand cycles and risk over time globally. And not everyone is optimistic, though, because Crypto Rover dropped a warning that 2026 could be a down year without a major catalyst. That's a fair point, but catalysts are starting to stack up faster than people realize. Meanwhile, banks are clearly feeling the pressure. Crypto R Us highlighted how U.S. banking groups are openly complaining about crypto firms getting national trust bank approvals. When incumbents start lobbying, it means disruption is working, and Cointelegraph backed this up by reporting that U.S. regulators gave preliminary approval to Ripple, Circle, and others to launch trust banks. That's massive for legitimacy and long-term adoption. On the macro side, Andrew BTC warned that Japan could shake Bitcoin if the Bank of Japan hikes rates again. Historically, those hikes have lined up with big Bitcoin pullbacks, so it's something to watch closely. And finally, there's noise around Bitcoin selling with claims that Wintermute is dumping aggressively. And whether that's panic or positioning, volatility always creates opportunity. And when you zoom out, the XRP story right now is about integration, regulation clarity, and steady accumulation. That 55 million XRP transfer suddenly doesn't look random at all. So as always, none of this is financial advice, guys, just connecting the dots. Let me know what you think about that whale, what they might be preparing for. And let's go ahead and take a quick look over at the price chart. So here we can see that the price has now dropped down below $2. Just a little bit ago when I was preparing this video, it was slightly above, so it has dropped down a tiny bit. We're moving out of the weekend into weekdays. There's a high probability of volatility increase, especially as we get closer and closer to this date for the Japan that we were just talking about here. So here we can see we're down a little bit on the day. We did close out red. It dropped down quite a bit yesterday. So at one point it was at $2.02. And then at a low is about $1.96. So it's nice to see it sitting above $2. Currently, yes, down just a tiny bit, but we do see that there's a bit of a drop off that just took place there. We'll see if some buying pressure can pull that back up. Just zooming out a tad bit, you can see as far as for the Fibonacci retracement, we are a little bit below the median zone in this channel. So if it drops down further, then expect a possible bounce around $1.83, $1.84, as that was retested here back on, or first tested, I should say, back over on November 21st. So it might be retested here soon. And then we also have on the rise going up to $2.27. That will be a bit of a challenge. And then up here at $2.46, that is where the spot ETFs had officially launched. So how long it could take until it tries to break above this, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it does. I mean, I can't even predict saying that it will for sure someday, but you know, history tends to repeat itself. So there's a high probability of this going back up and potentially even reclaiming new all-time highs. So I want to know what you guys think about all this. Share your thoughts with us down in the comments below. And I really want to thank you guys. You can check me out over on Blue Sky at Crypto Atlas. I'm also over on Patreon. And thank you to my YouTube members. God bless, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.